British tanks, Bradleys. I don't know if there were any more German Leopards in it. But of course, this leaves the Russians with a very bad taste in their mouth. And as I'm sure you're aware, they showed some Ukrainian soldiers pretending to be German soldiers in the Second World War, running around with German helmets, making stupid comments in German to local Russian citizens. All of this is sort of spitting in the face and the eyes of the Russian people and the Russian state. Now, what does this mean? It means that they've lost most of these people and all of this equipment. Does it do anything militarily for Ukraine? Nothing. In fact, it weakens Ukraine even more than it is already weakened. But something else very dangerous has occurred. I just sat with someone who lived in Russia for 15 years, had a relatively fresh perspective on all of this. And this particular lady told me that the Russian population is now united in a way that no one has seen in decades. Remember that within Russia itself, there are about 174 different ethnic groups. We find that hard to comprehend, but there are many Mongolian, Tartar, Turkic peoples who have very distinct identities, rich histories, extensive cultural foundations that are part of Russia simply because there were very few of them. When the final borders were drawn, they happened to be inside Russia. The Russians have treated them well, and Mr. Putin has been extremely careful to ensure that all of these people have equal rights before the law, which of course is one of the reasons that he took the Russian army into eastern Ukraine to begin with, to make sure that the Russian citizens living on Ukrainian soil would also be treated equally. Of course, that turned out to be a farce. And as a result, he's had to stay where he is and protect the Russians that live inside Ukraine. But something else has happened now, and that is that this population in Russia is enraged, furious, much more enraged and furious than people in the West understand. And they are literally publicly calling for President Putin to march west and essentially cross the river, smash whatever is in Ukraine, and regain complete control of it, which frankly is something that President Putin doesn't want to do. He never has. He was ever only interested in the Russians who were living inside Ukraine and ensuring that they would not be brutalized or mistreated. Unfortunately, we have a situation now where the population says that's obviously not enough. We'll have no peace. There will be no sleep at night as long as Western Ukraine